All right, everyone should be able to hear me, in addition as well see me. So we'll go ahead and get this meeting started. If you can see me and hear me, just put some comments in the chat. We are going to be on here. Definitely want to make sure we go over everything. We had a decent day today. We did have the SPY and the QQQ, which popped after JP. So everything's kind of really going to according to plan so far. So we did see the futures so far sell off tonight. So we're going to go through a couple of tickers. Oracle started the bloodbath a little bit here. Let me go ahead and share my screen so everybody can see. All right. We should be good there. All right. So we do have a SPY, and some of these levels just on TradingView won't update until the morning, unfortunately. But we can also view let me do that. We can also view over here on Yahoo Finance. If you go to your QQQ, you'll see right now we're at 619. So we do have the S&P 500 down 63 points. The Nasdaq is giving us a loss of almost about 1.5%. So as we thought, anywhere in between 1.5 to 2%, we said that beforehand. So tickers, notable tickers that are down right now, Meta Platforms is at 638. We all expected that. We did have a SPY, which pulled back here to 681. So we still are above 680. So that's good. But if we do get below 680 tomorrow, we can see more downside action. We also have Snowflake, ticker Snow, which if you took the puts position recommended, I would suggest closing that Snowflake put at open. We actually went ahead and hit the target that we was looking for. So Snow ended up coming down and hitting this two. It actually hit 211, and that change actually in the post market so far. So I do want you to close up that short position on Snowflake because it did hit that last target. Now, some things to pay attention to. QQQ, the same thing underneath this 618. So if you are looking at the Qs, we are going to see if we do get below that 618, there's a level down there all the way to 613. So QQQ right now, we definitely want to, you definitely want to pay attention right there at that 618. Underneath there, you're going to drop to 613. So really, Jerome Powell said a whole bunch of nothing today. I was able to listen in as I was running around handling a few errands. He didn't really say much. The market originally popped, but I did expect this even beforehand. So we ended up getting a 25 basis point move, which was fine. But still, there was really no clear guidance as far as what's next. And then as well, you had Oracle, which reported after hours, which, as I said before, I'm not surprised with Oracle because I know there was a lot of people expecting lightning to strike twice. And literally how the market makers work is they usually try to screw people over when that is the, overall consensus. So funny thing is this, and this is just the thing about earnings, right? If you paid attention last time, Oracle missed earnings, went up. This time they actually beat earnings, but they missed on the revenue, pulled back down. So they're already here. They're going to be here in a pre-market session. They're going to be already at that 191 already. They closed at 197 at the 8 p.m. Bell tonight, but they're going to be drawn down all the way to about 191 in the morning. So Oracle right now currently overnight is at 194 and 20 cents. So just like that, Oracle's erased all those gains. So like I said, no real surprise at all there. Everyone understands the spot in the area that you should actually be going ahead and picking up Oracle, and that's 120 to 140. So that's a good fair value price. Now, there's been a lot of debates back and forth with me. I know I said a couple of things that maybe ruffled some people's feathers, just as far as my expectations for next year. But it's just the reality. I think if I was in this position and I didn't say what the reality is, and then something bad happens, then people would be mad, right? So for me, I just want to point this out, and I want to reaffirm this. Some people are referring and speaking out of on my name, not in when I'm not present. But yeah, I want to reaffirm some things tonight. Nvidia will go to 120 to 140 dollars next year. And when that happens, that's where you want to be a buyer at. This thing is trading at a premium, not at a discount. So you want to try to pay discounted prices, not premium prices. Uh, no one should be ever buying at the top. So this is an investment, just to put this into perspective for people. Nvidia has now, in the past 3 years, has pretty much went up all the way here from about $15, right? And now you're all the way up here to $200, right? So you want to make sure that you are paying discounted prices. There's no discount on Nvidia, right? There's no discount on MU. There's no discount on AVGO. All of these names are trading at some form of a premium. There's no discount definitely on AMD. Last discount you had was back in April, right? So you are now paying attention here. All of these prices are premium prices. So any little move, in the market, any little shakeup, is going to overall bring the market, pulling it back down. So I just want to make that note and be super clear about it. And those are my thoughts and those are my thesis. When I don't see Nvidia breaking out anymore, it's not making me nervous, but it's just letting me know exactly if we do get below this 170, expect price to start pulling back down further. It's down $4 after hours, which is fine. This is just one session, one day. So I don't want anybody to really get overreacting over one session or one day. Right. So those are my thoughts on just really that, the semiconductor space just in general, right? So SMH made a DT today. And I said that before the market closed for those that ended up catching it. What I meant by that is a double top. This is the same top it came back to from October 29th of this year, right? So you go back about a month and a half ago. So we made a DT there. Wasn't expecting us to break. So in the short term, it pulled back down. That's the only reason why we really sold off. You got Apple right now, which is at 276. As long as they stay above 275, they'll be fine. So that all in all is there. Is what you could take a look at. Now, let me cover Microsoft, which is obviously a major component of the SPY, QQQ, and as well the DIA. MSFT after hours. As I told you guys on the notes, underneath 475 on Microsoft. It's at 473. So as we inch closer towards this 478, as I said, we never, if you notice, paid attention to this November 18th, we never got back above 494. So now the momentum, if we do break below 468, I expect us to still pull back down further. So that Snowflake and Microsoft pretty much goes hand in hand. If both of those tickers, if Snowflake pulls underneath 211, they're going to drop to 205. And if Microsoft pulls underneath 468, they're going to drop to 459. Right. So those are the levels there on MSFT and Snowflake. You can combine both of those tickers together because they're going to move and trade. I won't say the exact same, but pretty much in sympathy with each other. Right. So those two names. We also have MSTR overnight. If you're looking at MSTU, it's down back here to about $12. MicroStrategy MSTR overnight is dropped to about 178. So nothing really too crazy, but MicroStrategy still looking for MicroStrategy pull back down there to 150. And then next year, 100 to $120 is very likely to happen. So as far as MSTR, still remain patient. Allow that thing to play out. And that's really my thoughts there. Next one is ticker BA, which is currently at 197 here in the post market. This is the exact level that we actually need Boeing at. If Boeing can stay underneath this 197, you're looking for a move down all the way to about $194. And then after that, 193. Right. So that's really the excuse me. Those are really the levels to pay attention to. And then after that, 191 and then 189. So that's where you should be looking at for ticker BA. So we're expecting some move to the downside on Boeing. That's our thoughts on that. Netflix. Um, likely to probably start bear flagging here. So on NFLX, we're likely to start bear flagging. If we don't get below this $92 level, it's likely to start just trading sideways. And then we'll probably see a move down to $90.80. And then after that, $89.04, and then $87. So that's what I'll stress here with when you are taking a look at NFLX, guys. Um, Once again, another ticker that we provided coverage on where I've had to do a lot of debating with people as I don't really know why, but here we are. NFLX, looking for here on this weekly time frame. Let me clean up our chart, auto fit this to screen. We want to go back all the way to this April 7th low. That would be right there at about 82 to 83 bucks. So NFLX has completely broken its uptrend. It's now making consistent lower lows and lower highs. So continue to look for Netflix to go downward, in my opinion, right? So NFLX, best price would be in between $55 and $65. You're likely to see that $80, $85 level appear relatively quickly. So I still expect more selling out of NFLX. This has been a top name of ours to cover, and we pretty much called it all the way to the downside. So excited to see how this thing plays out. But yeah, that's pretty much that with Netflix. Nothing other than that at this time. All right, we're gonna move on. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I want to pull up Shopify real quick, and I want to talk about the ARK ETF. So Shop is still within its rising channel right now. I want to give you guys the level to pay attention on Shop, and that's 158. Currently, they're at 164 in the post market, but 158 underneath that level, it's likely that Shopify ends up pulling back down to 150. So those are just really my core levels on Shop. If they can break out of this uptrend, price will move back downward. Now, there's another ticker that I want to cover, and that's Uber. Uber was actually getting killed today. Um, Now, when I am looking at Uber, rough day for Uber and Lyft. I know there was someone who asked me about Lyft coming back down to $19. I'm forgetting the person whose name it was, so excuse me for that. But I did get asked that question about 3 days ago, about Lyft. So for whoever that is, I'm sure they're probably listening here now. $19.76 is where now Uber right now looks like it's probably going to head back down here to about 81 and 79. So Uber structured kind of broken. If we do get underneath this $81 level, that uptrend that Uber was in will start to get broken. So those are my thoughts on Uber. Long term, perfect price levels, right around $55. So you can actually time that with Netflix if you're looking for, just numbers to actually coincide with each other, to line up with each other to make it easy. So those are my thoughts on this name at this time. So Uber, I don't think it's going to pull back to 55. Just giving you guys just those levels. So, from a valuation perspective, you should always know where exactly you're buying a ticker. Are you overpaying, underpaying, or really paying the fair amount, right? So that's always the main question that you should know anytime you're going out there and you are purchasing tickers long term, right? So companies long term. You do have AVGO, Broadcom stepping up to the podium to report earnings. You also have MU, which reports earnings next week. So don't forget about those tickers. Both those companies are going to report their quarterly numbers. We covered Oracle already. Oracle right now is at 194 in the post market. So underneath 191, Oracle can go back all the way to 178. 120 to 140 is ideally where we are anticipating and expecting that to be pretty much a pretty solid, good price for you to be able to acquire Oracle shares long term. Right. So those are our thoughts on Oracle. Let's keep the party rolling. We just going through a bunch of tickers really here tonight. Palantir didn't get sold off so far, only down about $4. It's not too bad. The selling is across the market, so it's not horrible. But Palantir did have a nice day today. Some of the gains are getting wiped away, but as long as they stay above $180, they'll be fine, right? So PLTR, and you combine that with the ARC. Right now, the ARC is at 81. As long as the ARC stays above 78, but if the ARC gets below 78, you're going to start to see some more selling. We got Snowflake over there. Watch that 205 level, ladies and gentlemen, on Snow. But yeah, if we do get underneath $81, underneath $78, excuse me, we're at 81, underneath $78. That's where I anticipate more downside action on the ARC ETF, right? So other than that, we'll be A-okay here at this time on the ARC ETF. So just be looking out for that. On the ARC ETF. Carvana had another great day, so shout out to them. They continue to do amazing things. They're getting added into the S&P 500, right? TSM had a bounce back day, really solid day. Shout out to them. Just giving GEV, which we covered on the watch list this week. GEV broke out of that bull flag. Some things happen other faster than others, but I'm hearing a lot of insider trading as well on GEV to no surprise. So GEV broke out of this weekly bull flag, weekly and monthly bull flag on GEV. So shout out to them this week for an amazing week. And yeah, GEV really printed a lot. So yeah, you got your Nasdaq S&P 500. What I would stress for tomorrow is, hey, if you're not in, I know some people may have done, gotten into some puts, some people didn't. What I do want to stress is do not get into anything at open. Do not sit here and do not hop into any positions at open and just jump in anything. I want to stress that. Very easily, just the same way that the market came down, it could reverse very strong, and the market could start to pull right back to the upside. So I do want to stress that. Do not sit here and jump into any, do not jump into anything right off the rip here tomorrow, right? So I did want to put that out there. So far, everything is going just like how we planned it. The futures are red and down, but like I followed and said on the document and the information that I put out, very easily can the market just go ahead and reverse right back to the upside, right? So do keep that in mind. I know you see the futures red here this morning, and more than likely when the market opens up, it'll still be red. But don't get caught just looking to go now hunt on the short side. You are going to have stocks, for example, like Snowflake, which are going to be sitting right at support. So majority of tickers are probably going to open right at the support. The number one thing that I think everyone should watch is NVIDIA, right? This market is going to go as far as NVIDIA takes it. So if NVDA pulls down underneath 174 and 169, it's going to be incredibly hard, not to say impossible, but it is going to be hard for the rest of the market to go up if NVIDIA is pulling back down just because of how high asset allocation wise NVIDIA is. So that is just another note that I wanted to make. If NVIDIA is pulling back down, the overall markets are going to pull down, right? So NVDA, once again, I continue to remain short-term bearish on the semiconductor space. Even with today's pop, I still, like I said, I still proceed with caution. I would rather proceed with caution than to have a massive pullback or some sort of even a 20 to 35% pullback, which to me is just a sneeze, right? Uh, funny enough, like 20% is really nothing when you think about it, right? Like 20% down on some of these tickers after even 20, I mean, hell, 20% down on MU would be nothing. A lot of these tickers pulling back would just be a nice breather. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that the market is going to crash because I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is there'll be a chance for a reset and a balancing, right? And that will provide you with the opportunity of actually going ahead and buying in, right, to the right equities, right, at a fair, at a pretty fair price. So that is what I wanted to say. Don't think that I'm fear mongering or anything like that, but I just want to make sure that people actually are getting good entry prices. You're not going to get good entry prices when the stock market's at an all-time high, right? And it's very easy to become somebody's exit liquidity, right? Up here at the top, right? Very easy for you to become somebody's exit liquidity. So just wanted to speak to that. Um, you know, the tickers that are flying sky high, and I'm seeing people recommend them at these all-time high prices. I just want to be mindful and help people to understand where the discounts actually do lie. So don't overpay for tickers that you can end up getting 20 to 30% off, right? And a lot of times it doesn't last, these drops don't last too long, right? Like, so even the drop on Oracle that I've been highlighting and telling you guys, this stock is going to come down here to this 120 and 140 level. Now, the question is how long does it last? I don't have an answer to that. What I'll say is that when certain stocks hit certain levels, they bounce it, they don't come back down for a while. So don't get caught sleeping. And like I said, use these next 6 months when this market pulls back to actually get some solid entries. It's like I said, the drops don't last too long. Pullbacks on quality companies don't last too long, and don't lose sight of these proper valuations, man. So focus on getting good and quality companies at great prices. That's the biggest advice that I can say. And like I said, the pullbacks don't last too long. So when they do present themselves, be in a position, you got to be in a position to take advantage of it. And so it could last a week, it could last 2 weeks, it could last 2 months, right? But honestly, outside of that, we're not even in the same market where you're going to see the market be down for 18 months or 30 months, like we've seen in other opportunities before. So, that's really the notes that I have really for tonight. I'll save everything else for tomorrow and get some rest. But that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to really discuss with everybody. Pay attention to the VIX at 20. If the VIX breaks through 20, then the selling will continue. But like I said, don't hop into no puts at open. In my opinion, wherever the market is going to be at open, it's likely that, if you are in any puts, it's probably best to press sell at open and boom, watch for a reversal, a strong reversal tomorrow. Back to I won't say we'll turn positive, but I do think that we'll probably have a strong reversal tomorrow. Just depending on, let's see how far and deep this sell off really goes. But yeah, you'll have a lot of stocks that will be sitting at key supports. So one thing I want to stress is do not short anything at open. I really want to stress that. Allow the market to find its rhythm and its groove. Other than that, everybody have a great night. Happy Wednesday night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Appreciate everybody for tapping on here. Thank you.